Poor drainage destroys yards, driveways, and retaining walls. Poor drainage does not stay a small problem. It starts with water pooling in the yard. It ends with cracked driveways, leaning retaining walls, and foundation damage. In Northern Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., heavy rain exposes drainage weaknesses quickly. Today, I'll explain how poor drainage destroys yards, driveways, and retaining walls, and why fixing it early protects your property. Water follows the path of least resistance. If your property is not graded correctly, water settles where it should not. Once water saturates soil, pressure begins to build. That pressure is called hydrostatic pressure. Over time, hydrostatic pressure pushes against foundations, pavement bases, and retaining walls. Water does not need a flood to cause damage, it just needs time. First, drainage failure weakens soil structure. Healthy soil contains air pockets, saturated soil collapses. When soil collapses, lawns sink, depressions form, roots suffocate, grass dies. Next comes erosion. Summer storms create runoff channels. Those channels deepen every season. Eventually your yard becomes uneven and unstable. At that point, regrading and structural fill installation become necessary. Most homeowners think it's just bad grass. It's usually drainage failure underneath. Driveway problems rarely start on top. They start below the pavement. When water seeps under concrete or asphalt, the compacted base softens. Vehicles add weight. The weakened base shifts. Then you see cracks, edge breakdown, surface settling, potholes. In colder months, trapped water freezes and expands. The freeze-thaw cycle accelerates the damage. Replacing pavement without correcting drainage guarantees failure again. Water control must come first. Retaining walls do not fail randomly. They fail because water builds behind them. When drainage behind a wall is inadequate, water pressure increases. That pressure pushes forward with force. You begin to see leaning, cracking joints, bulging sections. Without gravel backfill and drainage pipe, pressure continues to rise. Eventually, walls can blow out completely. In many retaining wall repairs across Northern Virginia, poor drainage is the root cause. The wall wasn't the problem, water was. Poor drainage weakens soil cohesion. Once soil shifts, everything above it shifts. Walkways tilt, patios separate, foundations crack. Soil movement is not cosmetic, it is structural. The longer drainage is ignored, the more expensive the repair becomes. Small pooling becomes major grading work. Minor driveway cracking becomes full replacement. Slight retaining wall lean becomes structural failure. Preventative drainage correction costs far less than reconstruction. In the DC metro region, seasonal rainfall patterns make early correction critical. Drainage problems compound over time. They do not stabilize on their own. Fixing drainage requires planning. First, verify proper slope away from foundations. Second, extend downspouts away from structures. Third, install French drains in pressure zones. Fourth, use compacted structural fill during regrading projects. Drainage is not about appearance. It is about controlled water movement. When water exits properly, structures remain stable. How poor drainage destroys yards, driveways, and retaining walls comes down to one simple truth. Water always wins. Unless you manage it. If you see pooling, erosion, cracking, or wall movement, address it early. Correct grading and drainage protect your foundation, pavement, and structural systems long-term. If you need drainage correction, structural fill installation, or grading services in Northern Virginia, Maryland, or DC, contact Dirt Connections. Protect your property before water turns a small issue into a structural repair. When you need help, call 703-940-9949. Order materials and disposal services at dirtconnections.com. Serving Northern Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C.